All right, what is happening, boys and girls, ladies and gentlemen, day traders, closet swing traders? Just getting the final touches, getting us up live on YouTube, and I think we should be good to go. I think we're live. If you guys could hear me, just type a quick 1 in the chat. Make sure we are up and good broadcasting. Woodshed says you're good. I think you're good, Woodshed. You're good. Matt R says 1 BEA beautiful. What is happening? It's not a hypothetical. That's an actual question. What's happening? Yesterday, massive sell-off. Google missed earnings. Boeing reported, I believe, this morning. They missed earnings. Pretty weak on the earnings there. So again, this is probably the strongest week for earnings, so we're going to see a lot of stuff. Matt R says, "Good morning. I'm not awake. It's time to wake up, baby. You only got one life to live. Let's go. Let's do it." YouTube. Paul says good. Andrew says good. Awesome. What is happening? All right, guys. So we'll start with the SPY. We'll figure out what kind of crazy world the market's going to give us. But I will say, if you guys don't believe the market is the most exciting thing in the world, I don't know. I don't know who cannot find this exciting. I don't get it. Let me flip this to a 5-minute for now. So massive sell-off on the SPY yesterday. All things considering, it was a big sell-off yesterday, but the last 4 days was a big, massive combined sell-off for sure. I think we're all aware of that. After hours, we did dip a little bit. We started to pop back up, and we are sitting at least in the upper range since that last move. Let me see where we get some targets in here for the SPY. Some kind of upside, downside potential. We're right at a very key support yesterday. So the key support from yesterday was roughly about 415.49. So we got very close to that. If not hit it, nope. So we got very close to that. We didn't quite hit that one. We did start to bounce a little bit. My guess is to the upside, we're going to start having some resistance started coming in at around 420.61. So around 420.61, I think is where the SPY goes. Can we break it and run bullish today? Yeah, obviously, but that's the first spot for me. If we start getting a little bit stronger, the next spot after that, 422.72, 728. That would take a lot of work. Matt says, "Let's go Bulls." I don't see us getting up there. I mean, where's the sentiment for us to push to those levels? But there's just a lot of, at this point now, a lot of resistance above us. The first one being right around that 420 zone, 420.47. To the downside of things, if we start breaking that key number that I was looking for yesterday, 415.56. Almost got to flip this thing to a daily chart. Anytime I got to flip things to a daily chart is not good. It's not good. So what I'm looking at is probably, we got that 415 number, and then we got a little bit of, we're starting to pull into a little bit of support in general in the SPY. 414.34. Maybe I would be looking at like 412.38. I think that would be a good spot to try to sell some puts on a wave count basis, though. So what I'm looking at on a wave count is probably we're in a wave 3 right now. This being a 1, 2, 3. I don't know how far this thing goes, but just seeing that there is some consolidation down there, we could add a little bit lower potentially, like that 412 zone, get wave 4 and 5. That I think might be somewhere around that 400. 397, 400 zone, I think, is probably where we start to get at least some kind of attempted reversal, but we'll have obviously some bounces and waves in between that as well. It hit 413 pre-market. Okay, so that's that zone that I was talking about. And if that becomes wave 4, if that wave 4 is all pre-market, which it could, we did say Yeah, I wasn't even looking at that pre-market stuff. 420.46. That's right into that zone. So we already rejected that once. All right. That was the move I was kind of looking for at open just from yesterday. And that already kind of happened. So my guess is this is already done, and we probably, I think, roll. At least try to create some kind of double bottom at that 412 zone. But we're getting already rejected. So that's going to be our watermark that we want to beat now, is that pre-market if the Bulls have any chance. And then if that does get taken out, we still don't have that big of a move, probably only about to 422.66. And if we somehow, in some way, shape, form, get a little bit higher, then we get into that 427, 428 zone, probably about 428.50. But all right, so I think we might still continue with some weakness at open because that was the retest. Good call on that one. Very good call. All right, so let me take these drawings off. And we'll look at the Qs. QQQ. Maybe the tech industry is going to go so bullish. Nope. Same thing. Nothing happening. Aftermarket looks identical. Let me pull up the Qs, get some levels on these things. QQQ. In bear markets, we typically do get very bullish moves, by the way. So you'll see like bull moves that don't make any sense in a bear market, and then they pretty quickly within a week or couple days end up fading that entire move. But yeah, this looks like we're in a wave 3 on the Qs as well. On daily, that's probably the previous ABC. 1, 2, 3. I would expect some kind of a bounce. We did close roughly at some kind of double bottom. Pretty much right at the target was Qs look weak today. 317.90 is that last VPOC that I would be looking for, and we're opening, at least as of now, below it. Maybe we get a little bit of bounce, 315.62. That would be the next one to the lower side. Doesn't look like a very, very strong one. And then we just start heading lower. But the fact that we're already breaking that previous VPOC that we're trying to hold yesterday, Qs might have some further downside as well at open. Which it says, did I read the DM? I did not. Let me see. Is it just like a love note, or could I read it out loud as well? So just a love note. Dear DJ, I love you. Okay, so I'll read this one. During a bull market, I believe Thursdays are bear days. Then if Friday is bullish, we will get bullish follow through on Monday. My opinion has now changed. I believe we are. Wow, Woodshead's turning. They made him switch. My opinion has now changed. I believe we are in the beginning of a bear market. Therefore, Thursdays will. I would actually argue that we're already in a bear market. I would say that this move over here, that's when we started our bear market. So I think we're probably mid bear market at this point. I don't think we're quite starting. I am waiting to see what happens on Thursday, but I am leaning towards today being bullish, Thursday being bullish, late Thursday, Friday afternoon, Monday, bottom falls out. And then also, I think we're in a good spot to try Boeing long. I wouldn't touch Boeing long yet, but the price is getting attractive on Boeing for sure. But I like building a position in Boeing. I think over time, within the next 10 years, I think Boeing is fine. I don't think Boeing is going anywhere. I think that would be horrible for the economy if Boeing goes under. Which, I mean, anything is possible. I just don't see the probability of that. But yeah, so Woodshead's thinking bullish. I think that was the bullish move. I think that was probably the best we're going to see today. At least I don't see a reason why this won't come back for a double bottom in that zone. But there's some targets that are a little bit lower as well. So we'll see. And again, I do think we're in a wave 3 for a lot of these things. So for the SPY and the Qs, wave 3 is usually the longest wave, and we could see some definitely bigger move. I mean, look at Tesla. I don't Was that the biggest sell-off in the history? So Matt says, this is a good question. So it's 9:11. I got 20 minutes. Matt says, when should I buy things for the long term or should I wait? That's a valid question. Today, tomorrow, yesterday. If you're going in on a monthly budget, when the prices are good, if you're getting a good deal on something, then you could buy shares because you're not going in with margin, right? So you're protected in that end. Where they're not going to just start taking shares out. This is the long term. You're going in with just cash, just equity that you have. And the goal is to put in the same amount every single month. So even if you buy Tesla, like we were back at these levels before, 867. Did that feel like the good time to buy there? Yes. Do I think Tesla goes lower? Yes. Does it matter? Not really, because in 10 years from now, do you think the price is higher than 876? Do you think fundamentally it's a good company with good growth, good products? Do you think they're going to be out of business in 10 years? Probably not. I think they're here to stay. I think they have enough going on, different levels to hold up that bar stool. So, again, pick and choose what you like, especially dividend stocks. I mean, like Coca-Cola is obviously kind of high right now, for sure. But as these things start to come back, I mean, Facebook. I know some people like Facebook, some people hate Facebook. Do I think the valuation of Facebook, do I think this is a decent deal? Yeah. Do I think it comes lower? Absolutely. So you're not trying to pick the very bottom. You're trying to build positions on good companies that you think are getting a little bit beat up. So for instance, Facebook is down to 180.95. Yes, it was at 384. Do we ever see 384 again? I don't know. I have no idea. Do I think Facebook is going to be fine? Do they still make money in advertising revenue? Do they still own Instagram? Do they still own WhatsApp? Nothing fundamentally changed with the company, but literally within since September 7th to today, this thing has dropped $200. I don't have stop losses. Nope. The goal is to build and acquire and hold. So find companies that you like. I prefer at least a 60-40 split between dividends and growth stocks. So like 60% would be dividend stocks, have the drip on, have them buy shares for you as the quarterly dividends come out. Something like Facebook does not have dividends, but you could still add it into your positions. And if you're buying Facebook today, which again, and let's use Netflix as an example. I picked up Netflix at NFLX 212, I believe. So right now we're sitting at 194. I'm down on that on those shares, but there's zero chance of me getting margin call because it's all equity. I do think that Netflix comes down lower, but I think at 212, that was a very good price to get it, right? So they give me a deal, I'm going to take it. We were down at 212. I mean, that's since, what is that, 2018? It hasn't seen that. Let me go back to a monthly. So that's still pre-pandemic numbers, 2019. And I do think this thing comes a lot lower. So I'm probably not buying next month or the month after that, but maybe 3-4 months from now, I'll do another add reduce, right? And then just slowly build out those positions over time, because then as the market goes up, down, you're just adding, you're just building slowly. You're taking advantage of time, not price. And if you can understand that concept, you're going to understand the long-term strategies. And then once and like I said, I don't have stops in my long-term, and I'm also not, I'm not worried so much about the pricing, but as you build up and you have 100 shares or even 80 shares, something like that, and you're like, oh man, I think Netflix is coming down more. All right, well, you could actually take a put out, protect your position, take advantage of some downside. You don't have to sell. If you sell any of the long-term stuff, you're going to get hit with taxes. So by buying the puts, it's a little bit more tax advantage for you. The other thing too, so let's say at 212, let's say you're like, it goes up to 220, and I'm like, cool, that's $8. I'm going to take my profit now. If I did that, then all I'm doing, number one, I'm paying taxes on that money. Number two is I'm hoping that I could get back down to 212 again or below it in order for me to reestablish the same position that I had, which may or may not happen, right? But if I take a put at 220, then I'm still taking advantage of all that downside that happens as well. So We'll definitely get back. Like I said, next month and for May, we have a new schedule. We actually have some, we're pretty much streaming all day long starting in May, and we have different allotted times for different things. So one of them will be long-term, which will get much deeper into the long-term investing concepts, things like that. No, it's all good, Matt. Because it's a fair question, because obviously as these things start pulling back, people are going to want to know, like, okay, well, is Tesla at 876 a good price or not? Like, should I buy it or should I not? And that's going to be a common theme. And we saw all through 2020, 2021, buy the dip, buy the dip, buy the dip, where right now buying the dip is not really the best move. You're not in a bull market, you're in a bear market. But these are the times where you want to slowly tip in, buy positions of companies that you like, right? You are getting some decent deals across the board. I think you get better deals eventually as well, but you're not really concerned too much about really what happens in the next even 2 years. You're more concerned what happens in the next 10 years. So just by building up those positions, you'll be all right. Tesla, let's look at the pre-market targets to the upside. I think we're going to hit a little bit of resistance coming in at roughly 894.50-ish. Somewhere in that zone. To the downside, we're starting to push into a little bit of resistance or support. Probably somewhere around 859.05 to the downside. So we're not going to have that much. Like yesterday was a clear cut. Like there was nothing in the way. It was easy short. We're starting to pull into some areas of consolidation, at least where we have multiple VPOC levels that could be some type of support. So again, around that 355 zone, probably 357 zone. And then if we do dip further, I do think at some point Tesla will come down to about 768.64, potentially obviously lower, but I do think we get there. I just don't know about today. It was a massive sell-off, one of the biggest days in the history of Tesla. So I'll probably be patient. As far as the 10 EMA strategy, we are not able to take advantage out of the gate for that one, as it is an inside day. Would be after all these years of trading, I still type Apple wrong. That's cool. That makes sense. Apple. Another inside day. It's close. This one, maybe we get some action in the first 20 minutes that would make this one qualify under the 10 EMA strategy. But let's see. To the upside, I'd be looking for about 159.02 as potential resistance. To the downside, we're pretty much right at it now. So the first one is 155.29. This is a retest gap after a lot of selling. If we get a little bit further, 153.38 would definitely be a buy spot. And one lower, which would be the last one that the bulls have to hold on to, is 151.55. So we have two levels to the downside. It is a retest gap. I don't think there's much strength. I think this market is sell the rips. So if this one starts to bounce, first spot I'm looking for is about 157.29 to the upside. And then realistically, seeing if we get a really bullish day, I think we get to 158.93, I would say. So those would be spots I'd be looking to short. Again, we already got there and rejected it. So there might be some more weakness on the way. A lot of these things already kind of hit those resistance zones and failed. Let's go to AMD. Chips obviously been on the weaker side. AMD looks like it's about to fall off a cliff even further. We were calling for about $81. It's not there yet, so I think we do have some more room to the downside on AMD. It is a retest gap as well. This one, does it qualify? Not quite. Or are we like right there? This one might just qualify. Yep. So this one does qualify. AMD is on the table. It is a retest gap. Again, try to be patient at open. See if we get a retest. If we get a retest, I'm looking for probably the spot to short is about 86.40. That's where I would be interested in shorting. So 86.40 again, as that hit already. We didn't quite get there, but we already kind of got rejected off of that. A lot of these things might just open in small retest and then just drop. We never know. We can only take a educated guess, but because these things already kind of hit that resistance pre-market, we might see some more downside. Nvidia. Actually, let me flip back to AMD real quick. Targets to the downside. Like I said, I'm thinking $81. I think we have about $4 more to the downside, but the next level 184.90. Jeez, 184.90 and then 178.94. It looks pretty weak on a daily chart for sure. So we might actually even break that 181. I'd be interested in oh, hold on. That's NVIDIA. Never mind. That's NVIDIA. I was like, wait a minute, something doesn't make sense. Yeah, so around $81.51 is my target to the downside. So again, at this point, we don't have a lot of good risk to reward to the downside. We're starting to get into some of those zones. Jordan says the VIX is relentless this morning. Yeah. Yep. Let me see NVIDIA. But AMD does qualify, at least at the moment. So AMD, NVIDIA, we have. We have 7 more minutes. We have NVIDIA would qualify as well. Again, we're at a little bit of support. So the number that has to break for us to go shorter would be 184.72. And then I'm looking at 178.42. And then the next level after that would be 174. This one could eventually get back to about 139.81. I know that's probably tough to believe. It's got massive downside. So again, I wouldn't be buying here because we're either at the end of wave 3 or in the middle. I have no idea. But any bounces that we get, I'd pick up some puts for maybe a couple months out, 2 months out, something like that. I could see NVIDIA coming back down to about that 139 zone. A little bit longer time. Not today. But NVIDIA does qualify. We'll watch it to the upside if we get a bounce, 190.24. Based on everything else, yep. So that already hit that and probably continue to sell. All right. What's the other ones we have on the list? Roblox, which is wild card. We might move it. I'll probably not trade Roblox today. It's just down massive. It does look like probably continuation. Delta, DAL. Let me see where VPOC is on this one. We have at least a little bit of support on this one. This could be, I think this is a 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. This would be 1. This maybe the ABC 1, 2, 3, 4. We might even get another bounce eventually. I don't think the Boeing number is going to help Delta at all today. VPOC on this one would take us down to Delta's probably not a horrible short. Yeah, I would be okay shorting Delta. I think price target on this one at least would be $40.97. So that gives us roughly about $1 to the downside. If that breaks, we'd be looking at closer to 39.80, and then after that 38.57. So Delta does have some room to the downside for sure. On a hour or daily chart, we are closed below the 10 EMA as well. And I think 42.09 is going to be some type of resistance for it. So 42.09, we'll see what happens. But if I could get the candle pattern I like and we can get a 10 EMA, that would be to the downside. Let me take a look at Boeing real quick on the daily because I know this one's gapping down. It is a retest gap. I know Woodshed, he's already bought this thing pre-market, I'm sure. This one looks weak. This one looks horrific. I can't even get the VPOX for that far back. That's crazy. I'd have to go to back test strategy mode to get it. Honestly, I'd probably be looking for about 154.62 on this one, but yeah, this is gonna have some big trouble to the upside. Probably looking for about 149.36 on Boeing. I'm gonna set a little alert there as well. Create, cool. Matt R says Visa. Ooh, that looks different. Interesting. So Visa gapping up on earnings. That looks really nice. Yeah, target on that one would be about 220.07. Man, we're already kind of hitting that. So that gives us about $3 to the upside. $3 to the upside, and then we have a little bit of resistance. So we'll see what happens on that one. That pre-market move just took a lot of that out already. Is Boeing a good long term? At the right price, it is. At the right price. I'm not going to make an official switch yet, Matt, for Visa instead of Roblox. I'm going to watch Boeing as well. Those are the two. We do have a minute and 42 seconds. If there's any other stocks you guys want to look at, throw that into the chat. Tesla's moving a little bit. Let's see, Tesla. Yep, keep in mind, right up here is some kind of resistance. So if we start breaking, good, we'll go to the next level. But Coca-Cola, not much pre-market yet, just kind of all over the place. Coca-Cola is usually a little tougher on the day trade side of things. Like you legit need 12-cent stops. Doesn't move that much. Yeah, so Tesla's getting a little pump right again into that little VPOC area. So we'll see what happens if that holds up. SPY 410 today. I have about 412, Jordan, on the SPY. I think probably about 400 or 397 really is target, but we're going to get some kind of I think we get some kind of a bounce eventually. Whether that comes today, tomorrow, that I'm not 100% sure, but I think we start to get some kind of buying because the prices are a lot lower than they were 2 days ago. At least for a trade perspective. But I do see potentially a little bit more downside. We'll see. Maybe early morning. Maybe we retest back into those 420 zones and then we spill. So not quite sure, but we have 15 seconds. Make sure you guys on YouTube like, subscribe, and buy some life insurance from me. I don't even sell it, but if you guys want to, I'll get a license. Hit that little thumbs up button if you guys have not checked out all of the education on real life trading. Make sure you guys go to reallifetrading.com. Unfortunately, market's open. I say unfortunately, not because the market's open, because man, super excited for today. But I got to leave you guys in YouTube land. So we will catch you guys tomorrow for the pre-market live stream. Be safe out there. Again, markets are in an interesting spot, at least to say the least. Again, Tesla, we'll see if Tesla wants to break higher than this or not, but this is at a retest spot for sure. AMD is getting a little bit of love at the open. I think we are still in a market where we sell the rips. So either go bullish and be in for very quick, or just wait for some bullish moves to happen and take out some positions where I think you get some bigger moves to the downside consistently. We will see what happens. Otherwise, see you guys later in YouTube land.